Your phone is ringing right now. Unknown number, no caller ID. Just 10 digits you don't recognize. Are you answering it? Of course not. You're...
Hell no, I ain't answering that phone. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. As always, I'm your host, ClickThatReacts. And today, man, we want to talk about a little bit. The topic that we want to talk about is why y'all don't ever answer y'all phone, man. What's going on? You got it on silent, on vibrate, or do you just like hearing your ringtone? Whereas the true answer is you just really want me to leave your voicemail, huh? Anyway, man, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell so you never miss an upload from me. Get this video a like, share it with a friend if you can. I would greatly appreciate it. But I do know that this is I guess you could say it's a problem. I don't really know if it's a problem or not. I don't know if exactly that's the word I would use, but I would just say that that's something that I suffer from, right? I am notoriously bad at answering my phone. All right, that is something that I am terrible at. Hold on, a little bit of camera difficulties. All right, we back. A little bit of a connection break there. My bad, guys. But yeah, I will say that is something that I am notoriously bad at, is answering my phone. And even if I have the person saved in my contacts, right? I think I said in a previous video not too long ago that one of the best ways to actually get in contact with me nowadays is through text. Text me. 9 times out of 10, man, if you call me, more than likely you're not going to get through to me. I'm more than likely not going to answer if you call me. And there's a plethora of reasons to why that is the case, and maybe I'll get a little bit of an opportunity to go in a little bit more detail throughout the video. But without further ado, let's find out what this guy's take on why people don't answer their phones. Let's go. If I can get it to rewind. There we go.
Your phone is ringing right now. Unknown number, no caller ID. Just 10 digits you don't recognize.
Right.
Are you answering it?
No.
Of course not. You're staring at it like it's a bomb. You're Googling the number to see if it's spam. You're waiting for them to leave a voicemail, which they won't because if it's important, they'll text. Congratulations, you've been trained to ignore your own phone. 20 years ago, this would have been insane. The phone rings. You answer it. That was the deal. It might be anyone, a friend, a job opportunity, someone with important news. You didn't screen calls, you just picked up. Now, an unknown number might as well be a threat. Nobody answers. We've all collectively agreed that phone calls from numbers we don't recognize are guilty until proven innocent. So how...
Well, that's kind of because they are. How many of you guys are suffering from like the notorious spam calls, right? These people that just call you for really no reason or just to kind of sell you something or advertise you something. And it's no matter how many numbers you block, even if your phone is able to tell you, hey, this is potentially spam, but a lot of the times it doesn't, right? These guys, they just keep coming up with number after number after number after number, and they constantly calling you, right? So majority of the time, right, if you don't know the number, you're probably like me and you just don't answer. My thing is, though, I fall into a slightly different category to where majority of the time, even if I do know the number, I still don't answer. Sorry, Mom. I still love you, though. You too, bro. Just not a phone person, really.
How did we get here? That's what this channel breaks down. Hit subscribe.
All right, break it down.
How did answering your phone go from normal behavior to something only your parents still do?
Because it rings too much.
Let's go back to the 1990s and early 2000s. Your phone rang, you answered. Simple. Caller ID existed, but it was a premium feature. You paid extra for it. Most people didn't have it. So every call was a mystery. Could be your friend. could be a telemarketer. You answered and found out. Telemarketers were annoying, sure, but they were manageable. You'd get a few calls a week. We're calling about your car's extended warranty. Wait, that's too modern. Back then it was vinyl siding or long-distance plans. You'd say, not interested, hang up, and move on with your life. Annoying, but not life-ruining.
Hey, check out my boys' ads. We got ads.
Then the Do Not Call Registry launched in 2003. It was supposed to fix everything. Add your number to a list, and telemarketers couldn't legally call you anymore. And it worked. For about 5 minutes. Because here's what happened. Legitimate telemarketers followed the rules. Scammers didn't care about the rules. They weren't even in the country half the time. So the Do Not Call Registry accidentally filtered out the annoying but legal calls and left only the scam calls. You made the problem worse by trying to fix it. Technology evolved and scammers evolved faster. VoIP calling became cheap and easy. You could spoof any phone number you wanted. So scammers started making their calls look local. Same area code as you. Sometimes the first 6 digits matched yours. It looked like a neighbor calling. You'd answer because it seemed legitimate. And it was a robot. Or a scammer. Or a robocaller for a scam. The holy trinity of phone garbage. The volume exploded in the 2010s. What used to be a few calls a week became a few calls a day. Then multiple calls per day. By 2019, Americans were getting 26 spam calls per month on average. Some people got way more. Your phone became unusable for its primary function because it was buried in spam.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. For me, it's not so much of the spam calls to where I don't answer my phone most of the time. I can deal with those people, right? As soon as they even start talking, right, they probably get about 5 words in before I just hang up. No, thank you. Hang up. All right. Really, I think the more or less the problem is for me is that people in their conversations is no longer a mystery, right? Uh, there's so much social media and so much stuff shoved in our faces that 9 times out of 10, we're typically talking about the same things over and over. And by the time this person calls you to even talk about the conversation, more than likely you've already had this conversation already. And I'm not in the habit of liking to repeat myself. And I know that sounds crazy because look at what I do here, right? Majority of this job here is to repeat yourself. But when it comes to talking on the phone, friends, family, and stuff like that, I really don't care to repeat myself. And since everybody has access to every single piece of information that there is already, 9 times out of 10, when you call me to tell me about something, I kind of already know. Right. And now you want to go into all these details and tell me everything about it that I already know about it. And so more than likely it's just annoying, right? And then a lot of people like to post their information, right? As soon as they find out about it, they want to post it. So more than likely, if you're my brother or my mom or something like that, I've already seen your post about whatever it is that you're super excited about. And so now you're going to call me to tell me again about what I already saw on your feed or your timeline anyway, right? So most of the time, that's more than less why I don't answer my phone anyway, and that's why I kind of say your best bet is to just to text me, right? And I guess you could say that that's kind of my caller ID. Right? I kind of want to screen what it is that you want to call me about before you even call me. I'm sorry I'm like that, guys. I just am. I know it probably ain't right.
And if you've ever let a call go to voicemail only to get a robotic message about your car's extended warranty that you never had, hit that like button. The algorithm needs to know people are fed up with being robocalled into oblivion. The smartphone made it worse and better simultaneously. Caller ID became standard. Every iPhone and Android shows you the number. You can Google it instantly. There are apps that identify spam calls. Carriers added spam detection. But none of it really worked. Scammers just spoofed new numbers. They'd call from a different number every time. Blocking them was useless. The apps helped a little. Truecaller, Haya, RoboKiller, they'd flag suspicious calls. But they weren't perfect. Sometimes they flagged legitimate calls. Sometimes they missed obvious spam. You became the final filter, and your filter was simple. If I don't recognize it, I'm not answering. Voicemail became pointless too. Legitimate callers stopped leaving voicemails because they knew you wouldn't listen. Scammers left robotic voicemails that wasted your time. So now,
I mean, what's the point of actually leaving a voicemail when you have voice text, right? You can text. I mean, you can leave a voice memo as a text message, right? So it's kind of like, what is even the point of making me go through my voicemail anyway when you have the ability to leave me a voice text? Now, I understand maybe it's a job or a corporation or something like that, a business call or something to where you need to, go ahead and check your voicemail, and maybe they will leave your voicemail, doctor appointments, things like that. But when it comes to families and friends and just, your average day people, what is actually the point of you leaving me a voicemail, right? Just shoot me a text, right? And some of the help is less words as possible, right? The least amount of words as possible, you know. Not for me, but I guess for you, so you don't have to sit here and write this elaborate book. You don't have to write me a book. Just, hey, important, call me back. Something going on with mom. Send. Right? You don't have to give me the whole full list of details. Just real quick, sum up the phone call on what it's going to be about. Boom, send me a text. There's actually no point in voicemail, really, in my opinion, anymore, besides, businesses, doctor's appointments, official type of stuff.
now, your voicemail is just a graveyard of, "This is an important message about your vehicle's warranty," and heavy breathing before they hang up.
California. Want a free iPhone 11? Yes, free for eligible
That heavy
Californians.
breathing before they hang up, that's funny.
Medi-Cal,
So true.
SSI.
You stop checking voicemail entirely. If it's important, they'll text. And that's the other thing. Texting replaced phone calls for everything that matters. Your friends text, your family texts, your doctor's office texts appointment reminders, your employer uses Slack or email, even your grandma.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me on to what I was saying in the first place, was about it's not really a huge point in leaving voicemails anymore, because the way it is nowadays, if it's important enough, for one, if it's important enough, you would just call me multiple times, right? If it's super important, you're not going to sit there and wait for me to check my voicemail, because by then, whatever was so important is probably over with by the time I check my voicemail. Secondly, if it is that important, if you don't call twice by now and I still haven't answered, then your next resort is going to be to shoot me a text message if it's direly important, right? So, yeah, voicemail is just becoming a thing of the past, right? Just kind of like the answering machine did.
Your doctor's office texts appointment reminders. Your employer uses Slack or email. Even your grandma figured out texting eventually. The only people who still call are scammers and occasionally your parents. Phone calls became weirdly formal. If someone you know actually calls you, your first thought is panic. Oh no, something's wrong. Someone died. There's an emergency. Calling someone without texting first is now considered rude, aggressive even. Why didn't you just text me what you wanted? The phone call became the nuclear option of communication.
I won't say that, phone calls are weird. I won't say that. I just think that maybe, in my opinion, all right, this is just strictly my opinion, I just think that phone calls are a little bit too time consuming, right? Because look, in a text message, you're going to do your best to sum it up in the least amount of words as possible, because you don't want to sit up here and then checking your grammar and making sure you're spelling things. And you're not going to want to do that for too long and too long of a message, just you as the sender. But when it comes to a phone call, now you're going to want to elaborate all those meaningless details that just stretch out the story for an unlimited amount of time. And then conversations usually get sidetracked when it's actual talking and communication. And the next thing you know, this 10-minute phone call with your brother, I'm sorry, bro, hate to throw you under the bus, but this 10-minute phone call with your brother that now turned into an hour and a half long conversation. And majority of it was probably meaningless, but I would say maybe 20 to 30 minutes of that hour, 30-minute long conversation actually had some meaningful impact to it. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. I'm just saying that in today's time where everything has to be fast and quick and everybody is so busy, that answering the phone and having that hourly long conversation almost feels like an like oh, what is the word I'm looking for here? It's almost like you're using up too much time on that when you could have summed it up much quicker for me, and it only would have took me 30 seconds to a minute to read whatever text message and respond. Yeah, and now I'm back to doing whatever it was I was doing, right? So, yeah.
Businesses made it worse too. They outsourced their customer service calls to call centers in other countries. The connection is bad. The accent is thick. They're reading from a script. It's frustrating for everyone. So legitimate businesses calling you became indistinguishable from scam calls. Same cadence, same delay when you answer, same robotic quality. You stopped trusting any of it. The scams got more sophisticated too. They started spoofing government numbers, the IRS, Social Security Administration, your local police department. They'd call claiming you owe taxes and there's a warrant for your arrest unless you pay immediately with gift cards. Obvious scam to you and me, but they scared a lot of people, especially elderly people who grew up trusting authority. The elderly became prime targets because they still answered their phones. They're from the generation that believes ignoring a ringing phone is rude, so they'd pick up and the scammers would prey on them. Your parents or grandparents probably got scammed or almost got scammed. Everyone knows someone who fell for it. So now you tell them, don't answer numbers you don't know. Even if it says it's from the government, even if it's local, just don't answer. We've collectively taught an entire generation to distrust their phones, and the legitimate businesses that need to reach you, they're screwed too.
Unfortunately, I really don't know anybody that was a victim of those phone call scams, right? Because I was very up on speed when it came to that, right? I even worked for a couple of call centers at one point in time, so I knew about the phishing attempts, the emails, the text messages, the phone calls. I knew about all that, and so, and plus, I'm a very tech verse, right? I'm a technology guy. I love tech, so I also keep up with the dark side of tech as well. So anybody that was in my circle, my mom, my brother, my grandmother, my auntie, my cousins, things like that, I would just send out mass text messages to everybody or phone calls or whatever else, letting everybody know the different things that you can look out for, the different things that you can listen to. There was even one point in time when this AI stuff first came out. I don't know if they still doing it now, but the AI was kind of able to scan your voice, right? And it will mimic your voice to where it would call your bank or something like that, and deposit money or withdraw money using your voice, right? So I was even letting my family know about that scam, right? There was so many different ones, and I would send them images, proofs, and circles, and all of that. Like I had a whole, uh, you know, presentation that I would present to them. So thankfully, none of my people in my circle were victims to that. And I would like to think I had a lot to do with that, right? So hey, bravo to me for taking y'all out, right? Carrying the torch on that and leading y'all out of the darkness.
Your doctor's office calls to confirm your appointment. Unknown number. You don't answer. You miss your appointment. They charge you a no-show fee. A job recruiter calls about an opportunity. Unknown number. You don't answer. You miss the opportunity. They move on to the next candidate. Your kid's school calls because they're sick. Unknown number. You don't answer. Your kid sits in the nurse's office for an hour. We've broken the phone as a communication device because scammers ruined it.
With a brand new design that frees up even more pixels for personalization and an inventory
To a certain
of features
extent. I'll say that that's true to a certain extent.
Carriers.
Don't worry, guys. I'm going to have the whole entire camera situation figured out by the next video. I promise y'all that we are going to get this under control very quickly. But let's get back to it.
Carriers tried to help. They added scam likely labels. They implemented stir-shaken protocol to verify calls. It helped a tiny bit. But scammers adapted. They always adapt. It's an arms race, and they're winning, because they have unlimited numbers to call from and zero consequences. The FCC occasionally cracks down. They shut down a call center. They fine someone. It doesn't matter. There are 1,000 more call centers in countries that don't care about US telecom laws. The government can't fix it. The carriers can't fix it. So you fixed it yourself by never answering your phone. And here's the really dystopian part. This is now considered normal. A 25-year-old today has never lived in a world where answering your phone was default behavior. They think it's always been like this. The idea of just picking up when it rings seems quaint, old-fashioned, something their parents do. We've accepted that our phones, the devices we pay hundreds of dollars for and carry everywhere, are basically unusable for receiving calls from anyone we don't already know.
The devices that we pay thousands of dollars for. Don't forget, man, that monthly phone bill and the insurance, hey, man, that stuff adds up. The devices that we pay thousands of dollars for.
That's insane when you say it out loud. The phone call is dying. Voice communication is being replaced by text, email, Slack, Discord, DMs, whatever. Anything but actually talking.
I don't know what this Slack
And maybe
is.
that's fine
What is
for
that?
casual
Y'all let me
communication,
know.
but there are times when a phone call is necessary. Medical emergencies, job offers, important updates, and we've made it impossible to reach anyone. So how did we get here? Cheap VoIP technology let scammers call millions of people for pennies. Number spoofing made blocking useless. The Do Not Call Registry filtered out legal calls, but not illegal ones. Smartphones gave us caller ID, but scammers adapted. The volume became overwhelming. Texting replaced calling for everything legitimate, and we collectively decided that ignoring unknown calls was the only solution because nothing else worked. Your phone is ringing.
You know, my thoughts, man. What a great video. I'm going to make sure that I leave links to the original video down in the description area. So make sure you guys get into that description area, head over to his channel, and show the original creator some love. But my critique would be, or at least my take would be, I don't think I personally blame the scammers for everything. Now, I do get it with the older generation, you know, they are a little bit more wary of the scam calls and things like that. They don't fully understand how the scams and things like that work fully, right? So they just stay completely away from it altogether. But me, personally, I don't blame the scammers for us not wanting to use our phones for communication purposes. I just blame us. We have become so accustomed to speed. Everything has to be quick. And honestly, if your conversation is taking up too much of my time, then a text would just be a much better solution for me. And that's not a technology problem. That is a people problem, right? That's not a scammer problem, in my opinion. That's just us as the users. We have become accustomed. We have become spoiled. We have now adapted We have evolved in a different way to our technology. But hey, what do I know? You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I appreciate everybody for sticking around to the end. Thank you so much for your continued support. I'm going to be leaving links to the original video. I know I already said that. I just don't want you guys to forget about it. If you haven't already and you stuck around to the end, please go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on that notifications, and spread this information with a loved one, with somebody that you will answer your phone for. And the last thing, I'm trying out a little bit of a new format here, so please let me know what you guys think about it, because this whole channel is for you, right? You are the viewer, and without y'all, I can't do this anyway, right? So thank you guys so much for being here, and let me know what you guys think about the format. What do you want me to change? What do you like? What don't you like? Let me know it all down in the comment section. And as always, I am your host, ClickThatReacts, and I'll be seeing y'all in the next one.